Welcome to the tutorial for AlphaLab's leaderboard menu. This is the complete history of all your searches. Every strategy the engine has found, ranked by robustness. We'll go through every filter, every button, every table column, the detail panel on the right, and its chart, one by one, so you have no doubts. The leaderboard accumulates every MLflow run with its configuration, mode, number of trials, and date, so you can compare results across configurations without losing history. At the top, there are two rows of filters. Below them, two tabs, all runs, with the big strategy table and the detail panel on the right, and config comparison, the aggregated per configuration view. Each table row is one strategy, and clicking any of them opens its detail on the right. Let's start with the first filter row. The tier filter narrows the table by quality level, premium, OK, watch, replace, or excluded. It starts on all tiers by default, so you see the full book when you open the page. The timeframe filter narrows by candle resolution, D1, H4, H1, or M30. Remember something important. A hypothesis accepted on H1 is not considered valid for H4. They are independent searches, so here you pick which timeframe you want to look at. The search symbol box filters the table by symbol. Type, for example, GBP, and you'll only see strategies on pound pairs. The refresh from disk button rereads every run from MLflow, bypassing the internal cache. Press this button after launching a new sweep in Discovery, so its strategies show up here without restarting the app. The mode filter separates by discovery mode. Single rule is when Optina directly optimizes a single rule, one feature, one threshold, and one direction. Tree rule is when a decision tree of maximum depth 3 is learned over all features and the path of the best scoring leaf is taken. The end trials filter groups by Optina budget into buckets. Under 100, 100 to 299, 300 to 499, and 500 or more. It helps you find the point where raising trials stops, improving the result. The min DSR filter sets a floor for the deflated Sharpe ratio, the most robust anti-overfitting metric on the leaderboard, which adjusts the Sharpe for the number of trials and for selection across multiple backtests. You can require DSR greater than or equal to 0, 0.25, 0.4, or 1. 0.4 is already top decile, 1 is exceptional. The gate filter shows only those that pass, only those that fail, or all of them. A strategy passes the gate when it clears all 9 hard gates of the acceptance criteria. Minimum Sharpe, maximum drawdown, number of traits, maximum PBO, minimum DSR, and so on. A single failure blocks promotion to production. The best per symbol TF button is a very handy toggle. When it's on, it collapses duplicates of the same symbol and timeframe combination and keeps only the highest scoring run. It's on by default, so the ranking shows a single row per strategy, number 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you turn it off, you'll see every run of each cell, which is useful when you've launched many sweeps over the same pairs and want to compare them against each other. In the table, you'll notice repeated rows with the same symbol and timeframe when it's off. On the right of the second row are the bulk selection controls. The leftmost column of the table has a checkbox per row. Tick them to choose strategies. Select all ticks every row currently visible, respecting the active filters. Clear unticks them all, and delete selected, which shows in parentheses how many you've ticked, deletes them. It asks for confirmation first. The key point, deletion is reversible. It marks the run as deleted in MLflow, but the data stays on disk in the SQLite file. Restoring is a simple SQL query. You never lose anything permanently. Let's go through the table column by column. The first, with the tick, is the selection checkbox for bulk delete. Hash is the ranking position, recomputed every time the filters change. Symbol and TF identify the pair and time frame. Score, from 0 to 100, is the composite quality metric. It combines Sharpe, drawdown, walk-forward stability, Kalmar, and trade volume. WFR/DD is the walk-forward matrix robustness, the median return over drawdown of the frozen rule on rolling 3-month windows. This is the primary ranking criterion, so number 1 is the most robust strategy. P of profit over 3 months is the percentage of quarters in which the strategy was profitable across its entire history. 86% means it won in 86 of every 100 quarters. MDD 3 months is the typical drop you'd suffer in a quarter. Lower is better. Bias measures over-optimization. Around 1 is a robust plateau. Well above 1 is a knife-edge peak where you should expect the median live, not the backtest. Let's continue. Tier is the discrete classification derived from the score. Premium if it's greater than or equal to 75. OK between 50 and 74. Watch between 35 and 49. Replace between 25 and 34, and excluded below 25. DSR is the deflated sharp already explained, and DSR family is the same adjusted for multiple testing across the whole campaign. Use it to compare robustness between campaigns. Gate shows pass in green or fail in red, depending on whether it clears the 9 gates. Then come the recent 3-month metrics, Sharp 3 months and MDD 3 months. The full backtest ones, Sharp BT, MDD in percent and in dollars, PF or profit factor, CalMAR and trades. PBO, the probability of backtest overfit, colored like a traffic light, green below 0.30, amber up to 0.50, and red above. And finally, the rule structure. Direction in green for longs and red for shorts. Hold or holding bars, features, mode, in trials, the sweep date, and the compute time. About the row background colors. The 10 best strategies by robust score carry a gradient from green to red, green for number 1, red for number 10, so you can spot the top 10 at a glance even if you resort the table. And right at the bottom, the footer summarizes how many rows there are and how many of each tier. When you click any row in the table, outside its selection checkbox, that strategy loads into the detail panel on the right. Here we've selected UK 100 GBP on M30, with score 89.1 and tier premium. The panel is always computed assuming a $100,000 account with 1% risk per trade, the standard backtest convention. If the selected run had no reconstructible curve, the panel shows the best sibling run of the same cell and warns you with a note. Let's look at the panel in parts. At the top of the panel is the header with the strategy name, the score, tier, and gate line, the discovery period with the years and number of bars, and the reminder of the $100,000 account at 1% risk. Below it, the metrics column. Total profit is the total profit in dollars on that account, here over 50,000. Yearly average return is the average annual return, and CAGR the compound annual growth rate. Number of trades is how many trades it made over the whole period. Sharp ratio measures risk-adjusted return. Profit factor is what it earns divided by what it loses. Above 1 is profitable. Return/DD ratio is the CalMAR, return over drawdown. Winning percent is the share of winning trades. Drawdown in dollars and percent is the largest fall from a peak. And it closes with DSR, the deflated sharp, and PBO, the probability of backtest overfit, where lower is better. Finally, the chart. The top part is the equity curve, the cumulative profit in dollars, starting at 0. A curve that rises steadily and without sharp jumps is a sign of a stable edge. One that only rises thanks to a couple of big trades is suspicious. Below it, sharing the time axis, is the drawdown subplot in dollars, in red and below 0. It measures how far you are at each moment from the previous peak. The shallower and shorter those drawdown valleys are, the better. The horizontal axis is time, with the years of the discovery period, so you can see whether the edge held up over time or decayed toward the end. The second tab, Config Comparison, answers one concrete question. Which search configuration tends to give the best scores, and at what cost? Each row aggregates all the AlphaLab runs that share the same discovery mode and the same number of trials bucket. Unlike the All Runs tab, this view always reflects the full universe, ignoring the filters above, so you see the global picture. In the next step, we go through each column. Each row is identified by mode and, in trials, the configuration. Hash runs is how many runs fall in that group. Average score and average DSR are the average quality of that configuration. Pass rate is the percentage of runs in the group that would pass the 9 gate. Using a proxy of DSR, Sharp, Drawdown, Trade Count, and PBO, a bucket with a pass rate between 60 and 80% is a good sweet spot. Average time is the average time per run, which together with the score gives you the ROI, score gain per minute of compute. And best score with best dataset tell you the best result of that configuration and on which pair and time frame it was achieved. In the footer, you'll see the summary, number of configurations, total runs, and which is the best configuration by average score. Altogether, this tab helps you decide how many trials to use in your next sweeps. And that's the whole leaderboard menu. In short, use the tier, time frame, mode, end trials, min DSR, and gate filters to narrow the table. Leave best per symbol TF on for a clean ranking. And remember, the default order rewards walk forward robustness, not a pretty backtest. Click any strategy to see its full detail on the right, with its 12 metrics and its equity and drawdown curve. And use the Config Comparison tab to decide which search configuration gives you the best return per minute of compute. In the next videos, we'll cover the rest of the menus in the same detail.